Hey, this podcast holds nothing sacred. This is Life, Tech, and Sundry. And what is Sundry? It's our experiences put in a melting pot to the internet. So join us on this wild ride called the LTS Podcast. Follow us at LT Sundry on Twitter, LTS.pod on Instagram, Life, Tech, and Sundry on YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution services. Stay frosty.
And we're back to another episode of Life, Tech, and Sundry Out of Office. You're here with me, your favorite host of the world, Mr. J. And this is our deep dive into the spooky, aka Marcos's thoughts. We're continuing our tour of the U.S. most popular urban legends. Last time, we got chills from the old school ghost and modern boogeyman of the Northeast, aka Marcos in the middle of the night. Today, we are heading to the heartland, the soul, some may say, the body of the country, aka the Midwest, where legends are rooted in lonely highways and forgotten history. So buckle up, dim lights, grab your popcorn, grab your favorite drink, your beverage of choice, and let's go on to this mythical, spooky drive. Today we start with Chicago's vanishing hitchhiker and the werewolves, the Resurrection Mary, aka the story of the Resurrection Mary. It's one of the most famous vanishing hitchhiker legends in the world, and it all starts in Chicago. For decades, drivers along Archer Avenue have reported picking up a beautiful young woman with blonde hair and a white dress. And this is why you shouldn't pick up random strangers on the highway. Like, who does this? Anyway, she's polite but quiet, and she asked to be taken towards a Resurrection Cemetery. Again, like, why are we picking up people in the middle of the highway in the middle of the night? I think that should be a sign. But anyway, this is a classic ghost story, but the sheer volume of sightings over the years have cemented Mary as a local legend. Who even knows if her name is even Mary? Again, this is all could be Marcos' headcanon, but I digress. The urban legend's origin is a tragic one. The story goes that Mary, aka that may or may not be Mary, has spent an evening dancing at the Willowbrook Ballroom after a fight with her boyfriend, alleged boyfriend. She decided to walk home in a formal white dress. Tragically, she was killed in a hit and run on Archer Avenue and was buried in a nearby cemetery. If you live by this place, go check if there's a tombstone that says Mary something to see if this is true. Again, this is all Marcos' headcanon. If you do find it, tag us at whatever hashtag Marcos will put up here.
Hashtag LTS Spooks.
So anyway, we continue. Her ghost is said to be forever searching for a ride home, a permanent fixture of the Chicago ghost tour scene. Again, this wouldn't be a ghost tour scene if people just don't pick them up easy, but I digress. The most compelling part of the story is that so many people claim to have encountered her, from cab drivers in the 1970s to modern day motorists. I think Marco's trying to say drivers, but you know him, his headcanon. The tales are consistent. A young woman in a white dress acquire a ride, and a sudden disappearance near the cemetery gates. The legend of Resurrection Mary is proof that sometimes the simplest stories are the ones that stick with us forever. What does your gut tell you versus your head? And is your gut now trying to go in the opposite direction? Would you have pulled over? Hell no. Why the hell are you picking up people in the middle of the night? You don't do this. We do not condone this here in LTS. You shouldn't be picking up people on the highway in the middle of the night. You keep going, but I digress. We continue on with Elkhorn, Wisconsin. The Beast of Bray Road, aka Marcos's dream area to be in. Wisconsin has its own version of a werewolf. It is a modern legend that's taken on a life of its own. The Beast of Bray Road. This is described as a hulking wolf-like creature walking on two legs, and sightings have been reported for decades, aka Marcos just haven't been waxing his body hair, so now they think he's a werewolf. Unlike a typical campfire tale, this legend has been investigated by journalists and cryptozoologists, with multiple witnesses providing consistent descriptions of a terrifying beast. The creature has become infamous in the late 1980s and the early 1990s when numerous sightings brought it into mainstream. Locals reported seeing its glowing eyes from the roadside, and even claimed the beast has chased their cars. The beast. The most compelling evidence comes from a journalist named Linda Godfrey, which, again, this could all be just Marcos's headcanon, whose book on the subject brought the legend into a national audience, cementing its place as pop culture phenomenon, aka Marcos's headcanon. This story is a perfect example of how a modern-day cryptid can capture the imagination. My imagination. It's a tale that's too wild to be true, yet the consistent eyewitnesses accounts make it just believable enough to be terrifying. When you see something like this, do you reach for your phone to get a picture, or do you step on the gas? What would you do? You get the hell out of there. The hell? Now, from one werewolf-like creature, again, I'm sorry, these are Marcos' words, we're heading to Michigan for another. What is it with the Midwest and werewolves? AKA, it's just Marcos traveling the country, and he did not wax his body hair. And some even say he goes naked everywhere. But here we are in Michigan, the Dogman. Like Wisconsin, Michigan had its own werewolf-like creature, the Michigan Dogman. The legend has been around since the late 1800s, but it was a 1987 song by a radio DJ that made the legend a viral sensation. He created a song about a werewolf with the body of a man and the head of a dog, aka the movie Dogman was born. If you don't know about it, it's a graphic novel series by Dave Pilkey. You should go watch it. What was I? And suddenly, people from all over the state started calling it within their own stories. The tales are varied, but most describe a 7-foot-tall, bipedal creature with glowing eyes and a terrifying howl that sounds like a human scream. It's a legend that has been embraced by the state's culture, even inspiring documentaries and films, aka Dogman from 2025, DreamWorks Animation. You guys should watch it. The story's power comes from its unique blend of folklore and modern media. A simple song turned into an old legend is into a new terrifying monster, into a kids movie, mind you, that continues to be cited today. What's more frightening, the monster in the woods, or the fact that the simple song can make a whole state believe. From cryptids that chase cars, we are locking up the door and checking in to a location considered one of the 10 most haunted in America. Let's head south to Missouri, aka Marcos' favorite place. A driveway paved in the terrifying legends, St. Louis, Missouri. The Limp Mansion. This is not just a ghost story. It is a full-blown generational curse. So the Limp Mansion in St. Louis is the highest search haunted spot in the state of Missouri, and is consistently ranked as one of the 10 most haunted places in the entire country. The Limp family made a fortune in brewing, but their bloodline was systematically wiped out over less than a century, mostly within the mansion walls. This is true crime in history. Again, this is not true crime in history. This is everything with a grain of salt. It is a gold mine of paranormal dread. It should be activity, but Marcos here got tired and wrote dread. The terrifying lore is built on a string of dramatic suicides. The family patriarch, William Limp Sr., shot himself in the house in 1904. Years later, his son, William Limp Jr., followed suit. Then the suicides continued with his brother, Charles, and Charles' sister, Elsa, who killed herself just before Charles, making this house the epicenter of a family's horrifying descent into madness and self-destruction. The mansion is a structural nightmare of hidden secrets. It features an underground cave system with a natural spring and an eerie underground swimming pool. And most chillingly, the Limp family allegedly kept a boy. Boy. Rumored to be William Jr.'s illegitimate son, locked away in the attic his entire life. Visitors and staff now report seeing the monkey-faced boy, ghosts and spirits of the Limp family roaming the halls. The horror is in the legacy. This mansion is a physical reminder that no amount of wealth can save you from yourself or the curse of family misfortune. When you inherit a family fortune, do you also inherit their curse? Some may say Marcos inherited the curse of being too hairy. Anyway, we detour real quick for gas. Before we get out of Missouri, we have to talk about the Zombie Road, officially known as Rock Hollow Trail, a winding road that has earned its chilling nickname due to rumors of a zombie killer, serial killer, and sightings of shadow people and ghost children watching drivers from the woods, aka this is all Marcos' headcanon. Before we continue on our cursed road trip, we should re-up on gas. I don't know what's up with him and gas. He's gassy today. Because according to the phone, the current national average for regular gas is a little over $3 per gallon. And in St. Louis, Missouri, it's a bit north of $2.50 per gallon. Even ghosts need to budget for their haunting trips. Let's continue on our cursed road trip. We're heading east to Indiana, a state with its own terrifying version of a legend we've already covered, aka Marcos's hairy body. Indiana, the melon head, again, but it's different. It's an urban legend that has been shared across multiple states, including Indiana. The story claims a group of inbred escapees from a mental asylum in Connecticut live in the woods. According to the legend, they are said to have deformed and large heads and have been known to terrorize anyone who stumbles upon their remote hideouts, throwing rocks at cars and preying on travelers. The Indiana version of the legend, however, has its own unique twist. Here, the story claims the melonheads are a group of children with a genetic condition called, that is a big word that I'm not going to pronounce. Okay, I'll pronounce it. Hydrosyphilis, but it's proof that sometimes the simplest stories are the scariest. It taps into our most primal fears, that the ones we can't quite explain, and has I can explain it. It has stood the test of time thanks to the internet. What's more terrifying, the monster in the woods is actually Marcos, just without a shirt, or the story we tell about it. And that's why you had to buckle up for this trip, people. These legends aren't just about ghosts and goblins. Goblins, you say? Goblins? They're about the stuff we're afraid of in real life, the darkness, the unknown, and how easily we can turn a bizarre story into a local monster. Thanks to the internet, a whole new generation gets to experience the chills of these urban legends. And mind you, there are many, many more. Alright, that's all the time we have for the Midwest. Let me know what you think on social media, aka Instagram, Twitter. Have you ever heard of these stories before? Do you have any local legends that are even creepier than this? Tag us on your links in the description with your story, or you can use the hashtag that Marco will put up right now. There you go.
Hashtag LTS Spooks.
Until the next time, though, this is Mr. J, and you're listening Out of Office Podcast. We'll catch you next week when we take a trip to the south, the southern region, a region of chilling cryptids and vengeful poltergeists, aka Marcos' headcanon. Good day.